stage, you are muted for life. You need to leave the stage and come back.
Nice.
Don't ask me why. It's it doesn't seem that only Holocene has bugs. Even Discord. James Sakalane, Jitblade, Queendar, Shaddix, Bob, Neo. What's up, legends? Ast. Pleasure to have you all here today. Today is going to be a very cool episode. We have John, we have Jim, and we have Jose. Do you see a pattern here, John?
Yes, I do. Should have been like this
Only
from the beginning.
exactly. Only people whose name starts with J are allowed to host the brew now. Jamie, NDR. Pleasure to have you guys here. Today is going to be exciting. We are going to have a full analysis of Z.ink from the perspective of three different team members. John, who you guys know, is the mastermind guiding the cosmic currents to create Holocene. So he'll give his perspectives on how Z.ink enables Holocene, how it ties in Z.ink passes with Holocene passes. He'll give some spoilers on the next chapter of Holocene.
Oh boy,
We had
very cool.
some cool developments. Yes, John. The brew is the place where we leak stuff, so you
Get
gotta pay
something
the
ready.
price.
Get
You
something
gotta
good
pay
ready.
the price. Yes. And we also have our friend Jim Carter. Jim is also overseeing the development of Z.ink. He has all the alphas, all the knowledge, and what he doesn't know, he'll make up on the spot, so don't worry. He'll just ask the devs to build it. It's going to be fine.
That's right.
Welcome to the
Now
stage,
I'm
Jim.
that guy. Uh,
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Ready to rock and roll. So, we are nearing uh, the stage where many cool stuff starts happening. We are very close, right, John, to the release of Holocene. We can almost taste the cosmic currents. We can almost feel in the air the new stuff that we have been tirelessly working and building and cracking and building again. It's going to be awesome. Z.ink is also coming along pretty nicely. C4 PTR as well. It is, everything is coming together. We are on the last stages of development. Stakes are high. We are all super excited, super scared, but also super happy with how everything has been building up. And now we are going to talk a little bit about what we have been building, give you guys more details on Z.ink. If you guys have any questions during this presentation, during this conversation, feel free to use the chat. You guys know how it rolls here in the brew. Everyone has a voice. You guys can ask to your heart contents. I also have Jacob, one of our founders, in the backstage here. I asked him to give me some answers, some spoilers. So if we have any questions that only sea level can answer, I'll use my penguin powers to summon Jacob to help us. But with that, I think we are fine to get started. Uh, and Jim, I think as an introduction, I mean, most of the people here are long-term Star Atlas followers. They know everything that's public about Z.ink, but never hurts to give a summary. Oh, we are doing cameras on. Okay. I
Oh, do
didn't.
we? I can turn them off. I just didn't see what
No,
the
no, 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 no.
okay.
Let's do cameras on. The people deserve to see your beautiful face. It's it's part of our jobs.
Speak for yourself.
Yep.
uh, but yeah, we have been working hard Did you like my hair, Ziggy? I paid a lot for it, man. It's better that you like it. So yeah, without further ado, Jim, let the audience let's give a brief introduction, a summary of what's the topic of today. Z.ink, the blockchain, Solana virtual machine, blockchain created by Star Atlas to host its ecosystem, and any other projects that the world wanna bridge the ultimate blockchain. Please give us
Yeah,
a quick tour
a
here.
quick overview, right? Yeah, so I mean, fundamentally, Z.ink is a fork of the Solana blockchain and SVM to be, another basically an L1, basically a level one blockchain that allows us to run Star Atlas in a more cost-effective manner, basically, right? That's kind of the main kind of core technical thing about what Z.ink is. um, on top of that, there's also this Z.ink identity and rewards system. And so I think a lot of people who have interacted with Z.ink have basically interacted more with that rewards and identity piece, which we've called like the Z.ink profile. And basically it's a way for people who are participate in the Star Atlas ecosystem to gain extra rewards, um, for participating in that system. Um, and there's other kind of really interesting things that I think are kind of cool around the way that we want to do tokens and allow people to sort of participate in tokens in a way that really is more about interacting with the Star, playing the games, being part of Star Atlas, playing the games, locking, being part of the DAO, being playing Holosim, playing Sage, and that's more access to Z.ink there than necessarily kind of the way that other ways that tokens and the Solana token or ETH or any of those others have been put out there, which I think is also a really cool concept in my opinion. So
Awesome, awesome.
yeah, I hope
And
that gives a high enough level overview. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, no, that was a good introduction. And I think the next question for the audience would be, why a new chain? And why now, Jim? Like, you have been supervising this development, you have been working hard on this. It's part of the Automata macro plan for this year, for the releases of our new products. Tell us how this all fitting together. Like,
yeah. So why is a great question, and I think since we have Xcode and Holosim here, just talking about why we couldn't have been able to do Holosim on the Solana blockchain, right? And primarily it's because of the fact that blockchains fundamentally push the price of compute down to the user, right? Through paying for compute via tokens, right? You have to pay Sol to do a transaction, right? And so somebody has to pay it, and typically it's the end user, if you will. Signing the transaction is typically the fee payers. Others can be the fee payer, but ultimately somebody has to pay, right? And so and on the Solana blockchain, as good as it is for Sol holders, bag holders, we have to compete with any time a a coin is being pumped on pump.fun, or anytime some big event is happening on the Solana blockchain that's competing for compute resources. Everybody knows that's why there's priority fees, right? And that's why Ethereum, the huge amount that ETH costs. Everybody's probably in this thing is fairly familiar with that. Um, and so if we had tried to do Holosim, an absolutely free to play game with as little transaction, little friction as possible for new people to come in and experience the gameplay and have fun outside of an economic loop, right? An actual fun game. Just think about how kind of expensive that would be to do that on the Solana blockchain, right? I mean, so think about, for example, anybody who's played Holosim, you don't have to create a wallet, you don't have to sign a wallet, you don't have to have a wallet extension and do all the pub keys and all the stuff that we've seen over 5 years of, or 3 years of, whatever, however long Star Atlas has been around. It seems like an eternity to me sometimes. We've
Yeah.
seen a significant decrease in people who get to our stuff, have to install a wallet, and we never see them again, right? Because they're coming from the game space. So one of the things we want to do with Holosim is you just get right in, you just create a character, you just start playing. Woohoo, right? Now imagine we were going to do that on the Solana blockchain. We would have to either custodial that wallet somehow, or we would have to faucet them Sol, and then they'd be doing Sol in the background. Well, as soon as somebody figured that out, people would be writing bots, creating hundreds of thousands of Atlas profile or Holosim profiles a second, and extracting the private key from the browser and transferring that soul out as fast as they could, right? And we just go bankrupt as fast as possible, right? Like, and so, by having a blockchain like Z.ink, an L1 like Z.ink, we're able to create a test environment and a dev environment and test environment, and create a free to play production environment that doesn't have real world consequences and isn't incredibly expensive to run, right?
Mhm.
And we can mint Z.ink, and we can drop Z.ink to players in the background, and there's no reason for someone to create bots and try to take that Z.ink free to play environment token, because there's no real world value in it, right?
Awesome.
And so by being able to do that, we're able to create Holosim, and we're able to create that experience. And again, our main goal about Holosim is to try to get as many new players as possible playing, so that they know about Star Atlas, they learn the gameplay, they enjoy it so much, and they go like, oh, hey, what's this thing Sage? What's this real asset game? Hey, it's very similar. Maybe I want to go play that too. And then all of a sudden, that whole player base grows. We're getting inflows of money. Inflows of money is creating a bigger economy, and it's a more profitable game for everybody to play, right? And again, we couldn't do that without investing in way more money, doing that on the Solana, uh, prod SVM, right? And of
Yeah,
course, people. Go ahead.
Gene, sorry, my friend. It's just
No, no,
because SDU Pimp asked a question, and I
sure.
think there's a little confusion here. He's saying, but zinc tokens will have real world value. You are mentioning what you are referring to is the zinc testnet where Holocene would live, right? So those
Yeah,
tokens wouldn't have. You
right.
understood, Sasquatch, the difference? Because if we try to roll uh, zinc Holocene on the Solana testnet, we would still need to subsidize those accounts. Yeah, you
Right.
just wanted to clarify that, right? Okay, so I
Yeah,
understood
yeah.
what you're asking.
Yeah, and so by us having the technical knowledge of how to run an SVM, right? How to run validators, how to run SVM, how to run RPCs, we can, like you said, I mean, Holosim is running on this thing called AtlasNet now, but we may in the very near future have a Holosim production cluster that's running a specific version of Z.ink for just Holosim, and it doesn't bleed over into the Z.ink L1, but we have the knowledge of how to do that, and we know how to roll those customers. So that was one of the big technical hurdles, that we needed to get over. I mean, how do you again
And
do
Jin,
your own thing? So yeah,
now
so
that
different
now,
environments. Yeah.
now that you said that, something really interesting occurred to me. I mean, we are using the Solana virtual machine to build Zinc, right?
Yes.
Does that mean that automatically any program that is compatible with Solana will be compatible with Zinc, right?
Yeah.
With
Yes. Yep. From a
yeah,
fundamental level, absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
yes.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
if it's, as you are saying, extremely hard to test stuff in DevNet on Solana, so maybe another good idea or a good business model for Zinc Network is to become the testnet of Solana, right? I think that maybe it's a good use case of the network as well.
I say, man, yeah. I hope the C-suite's watching today. I think it's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, it's fundamentally because for those. I mean, there are people on here who are obviously are deep Solana developers and building, companies on top of Solana. But the DevNet. I mean, how many times as a developer you've tried to get DevNet Sol, and nope, faucet's closed right now because somebody wrote a bad script that just is sucking DevNet soul constantly, right? And you can't test the faucet, right? That you know, again, running validators is it's not a small effort. It's not a cheap effort. And so, in my opinion, and again, this is no shade on Solana Foundation, but ultimately the DevNet and testnet support on of Solana that's expensive, and nobody really, in my opinion, is eating that expense enough. And that's one of the reasons we created AtlasNet way back in the day. Is we, like you said, we needed a stable, easy, reliable way to be production to be developing and testing our on-chain programs, and we've run into friction trying to
This
do
is
that on Solana, DevNet, and testnet. So yeah.
yeah, this really is interesting. So we have some other questions here, Jim. The first
Yeah.
one was from Bohemian. He asked, will there be priority fees in Zinc, or will they even be relevant?
So again, I don't, I just want to say I'm not, anything I say is not gospel for Star Atlas, and ultimately that's a decision kind of above me. But my hope is that no, they wouldn't be relevant because ultimately, the way that I would love to see this and the way that I'm championing internally, and again, there are things bigger than me and I don't have the full picture. So if Starlist does it a different way, there's a good reason for it, right? But I would love to see us build Zinc and be this fantastic, reliable, cost-effective way to play Star Atlas, right? And
Awesome.
there isn't priority fees because you're not competing with, the next Argentina meme coin or the next Brazil meme coin or the next
Why
liquidation
South
event.
Americans? Why South Americans?
As I'm
Meme
looking
coins.
at you, man, that's why.
Your president launched it.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's as I'm looking at you and thinking, so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're
Easy.
not having to compete for that because we're not having to compete from that. Transactions are
Yeah.
super reliable, and getting in the next slot is very easy. And yeah, and then just the price of that compute is something that we control, and it's not as variable, right? And that's one of the struggles. I mean, people who really have dived into really playing Sage and trying to extract as much value from that, they just know that with it being a variable cost and a variable reward, it's tough, right? And so with Zinc, and if as us kind of controlling it and really, and if we can make it the best Star Atlas experience.
Awesome.
And yes, there will be other, and you'll get into this other questions. There will be other value, but again, Star Atlas, if we can make it a $5 billion ecosystem, right? Then there's a ton of value just for us as Star Atlas players and people in the Star Atlas world. So
This is super cool. And I have
yeah.
a tricky question from Larry Nor here, Jim. Take care with this
Oh
one
geez.
because we don't want to expose ourselves here. He's asking, I have a question, and that's great that Jim is here for it. I know we don't have dates, we don't do dates, but how advanced are we regarding being able to deploy Zinc? I know C4 itself is a huge endeavor in coding, but how far are we in the Zinc front? And then he added, testnet is basically already Zinc. So essentially Zinc is already deployed, just being polished.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot of good questions in there. And I'll do somewhat like I did about with the C4 last time. So we have been operating a Zinc DevNet, right, which we call AtlasNet, and we have had 3,000 concurrent players playing on it in holosim, and it was one of the reasons we wanted to do holosim. And Xcode just did a fantastic job leading that, was to test load. How many RPCs do we need to be running? How many validators do we need to be running to be handling that kind of load? And then we have had Atlas testnet, or excuse me, Zinc testnet running stably for a bit. I want to say roughly 30, I think about 30 days, maybe less. We've had a test net running, and it's all been running and stable and looking good. And there's a nuance in this in terms of and again, kind of the way that I've been championing, and again, please take this as Jim's opinion, and not necessarily the opinion of Star Atlas. Running a Zinc net that runs Star Atlas and handles all of Star Atlas's use cases really well, and doesn't have as many potential attack vectors and things like that, is what I would like to see the next step of Zinc. And then, and then figuring out what are all the steps we need to do to have Zinc be a really open, decentralized L1 where Jump can come in and Solana Foundation can come in and other people can come in and start using the network, and the blockchain. I don't know how long we're going to take to get to there. How much effort, in terms of, how well audited are the bridge mechanisms, how well audited, but one of the things that we did do, and I don't know if that answers your question. So, but there's kind of phases to it. There's, again, getting it to run Star Atlas really, really well, right? Getting it to run C4, and people are on playing C4, and they're bridging their assets from Solana to Zinc. They're playing C4, they're loving it. It's super fun. They're making money, and then they're able to take that real world value, get it back to their to their Solana, to their bank accounts, that whole pipeline, and that works really well. And then I would like to see us bring on others. That may not be the way we go, and we may bring others faster than that. But there's a lot of things that you have to handle in terms of just, it's one thing, again, for us to be like, hey, we have a bridge that allows you to transfer C4 assets over. It's another thing for us to be like, here's a wormhole full style bridge that can bridge between all kinds of tokens. That it's just another use case that they seem similar, but there's edge cases in those use cases that aren't specific to Star Atlas, that we may not have the time and capacity yet to handle as secure as I would like to see in L1 to handle those, right?
Jim,
So yes, go ahead.
no, sorry,
Please
my
cut me
friend.
off at any time. You know
It's
me, I'll
it's
just
it's
talk.
because
Yeah.
the questions keep piling up, so I I need to start
Yeah, yeah.
asking them.
Yeah,
Jindo
yeah,
is
please do.
asking, how will token accounts work on Zinc? We are still going to pay rental fees.
What was the very last part? You broke up for me there.
Uh, if we're going to pay rental fees like on Solana when we create something in game, for example, a fleet, etc. How this is going to
Correct.
work on Zinc?
Yep. So that's the thing. Being fundamentally, we're just forking. We're just doing what Anatoly say. Just fork this, right? Just fork over, right? Yeah. So we're ultimately just forking SVM, and we are not right now. The plan is not to alter that in any way, shape, or form, really, other than just kind of a fork that has a different genesis. That's a different, that's the Zinc token instead of Sol. Um, again, the benefit of that is, yes, you still have rental access, but if that rental isn't costing $30 to $40 to hold that, because Solana, Sol's at 150 or $200, or hopefully for my bag is at $1,000 at some point, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
instead, it's pennies for that, right? Because it's Zinc. And again, we want to create real value in Zinc because people are investing in Zinc. I don't want to say that, but ultimately, the value comes from the Star Atlas economy versus the bigger blockchain economy, which then fights for us, or competes for those resources. So yes, ultimately there will still be rent. There still be all of the fundamental things that an
Structures of
SVM
Solana.
chain has. So,
Awesome. Jim, I'm not sure if you are going to be able to answer this one. This one comes from Domida. Yeah, he's asking, are we planning to create a pool with Zinc Atlas, Zinc Polis, or Zinc Soul at the beginning of the launch of the network?
so a liquidity pool, is that what you said?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Liquidity
that
pools.
again, that gets out of the technical realm. I don't, I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
that's
Yeah, I'm
Michael
not sure.
Wagner. Michael
Yeah,
Wagner
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
Jim, I'm going to change topics a little bit because I want to talk about the core product of the Zinc
Sure.
network. The Z
Okay, I'm gonna
profile.
switch headphones real quick. Just give me a second.
Yeah, no. Okay.
Running well. All right, go
You
ahead.
hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yep, all working. So, let's talk a little bit about the Z profile, the Z identity, the XP system. Can you give us a rundown and explain to our audience how the system works, the pain points, the roadmap here, if we are doxing people, if we are not doxing people, how this all play out, my friend?
Yeah. No, we definitely don't want to dox people. Which is why anybody who's created a Zinc profile, like we're not asking for an email address to sign up. You just use your wallet, create an account, give us whatever name you want. And even in the background I apologize for people who have been dealing with Stripe issues. We just have basically a link to Stripe. We don't have any of that payment information. So yeah, no, real question. We don't really want to dox people. Um, so, a big part of Zinc, and is this idea of being able to reward people for participating in Star Atlas, right? And being able to be getting not just the economic and the entertainment value of Star Atlas and the games, but then also being able to get rewards, airdrop rewards being Zinc tokens themselves, being items in our games, and part of the bigger thing is that as we want Zinc to be the greatest place for web-based games and some other like D apps and other things to come on there. um People have seen the multipass. Right now the only company offering rewards through multipass is Star Atlas, but we built that system so another Web3 game could come in and they could offer their rewards through multipass as well. Or a D app could come in and they could start offering rewards through multipass as well. And so we've built this system as a blockchain level identity and rewards system, so that you can have this centralized. And again, we're trying to kind of show that with Star Atlas. Like you can be playing Sage, you can be participating in the DAO, you can be playing Holosim. All of them funnel to one Z profile that is getting rewards for that, and getting participating in the rewards program and the loyalty program. And then again, as we bring on others into the ecosystem, into the Zinc ecosystem, they can do that same thing. And there's this kind of to use corporate buzzwords, this kind of synergy, right? Where it's like, hey, you're a new Web3 game. Well, Star Atlas has 300,000 players playing on Zinc, and we've got 300,000 people in the Zinc rewards program. Start offering rewards in our reward program, and just like we did with the checklist for Play Holosim and link your Epic Store. And again, I involved in Unreal. You can play Unreal games, and you can the Unreal game and get rewards. Just like all of that, we could start other Web3 companies, other Web3 games could start being part of that, and kind of be able to tap into the bigger ecosystem, generating more value for the entire Zinc ecosystem in general. So building those fundamental identity, fundamental reward. The other thing that we're, especially since we tried the Stripe crypto payment solution and just ran into so many issues. A part of Star Atlas, we have this player vault. We have the ability, if we know that, and we're discussing this internally, like people at Alpha, of instead of using Stripe for crypto payments, again, what if we use the player vault, right, where people could basically escrow a certain amount of crypto token or stable tokens, you know, give our key the permission to withdraw those on a regular basis, but they could pull out any time. They could basically cancel and get all that money that was escrowed back. Utilize that as a stable crypto payment solution. Well, then again, we could then offer that to others, to D apps that want to do dollar cost averaging, or Web3 games that want to do that same kind of reoccurring payment process. So
Awesome.
um, yeah, so being able to build that not just for us, but to build it as a way to incentivize other players to come in, companies to come in and build on
Mm,
top of it. So
for sure. Jim, I have a question here
yes,
about validators, but I want to save this question for later because we have a
okay,
special guest to talk on this topic. So I'll go for Neil's question. He's saying that he's getting this question frequently in his live streams about Sync.
okay,
Uh, the launch date was planned for later March, and there was a countdown timer on the platform that reflected that date. But in the last 2 weeks, that countdown was removed from the website. Does this mean that the launch of the network and the end of the origin season has been postponed?
No, it does not mean that. So that so the excuse me. So the countdown actually, and this is really interesting that you brought this up, and I'm glad to the count. So the way that we're going to do airdrops. So there's the way kind of okay. I'm going to go way back to the way rewards. There's kind of three levels of rewards, and two primary levels of rewards from Z.ink. There's airdrop seasons and there's multi-pass ranks, and then there's this kind of global kind of reputation level. So when you get into Z.ink, you kind of see your Z.ink profile and you say, okay, I'm level X and I've earned this much ZXP globally. That's like since the ending of Z.ink and how long I've played it. I've got 2 million ZXP and I'm level 17 and I get, and that's my reputation and how my OG status, right? And then there's these airdrop seasons. Alpha was the first one, Origin is the next one. And basically those are seasons in which time periods in which people compete on these global leaderboards and then they'll be rewarded airdrops based on their progress during that season. And those seasons don't last forever. We're going to reset them just like we do with HoloSim. So alpha was what, 60 days, I think. Forgive me if I'm wrong in the specific dates. And we reset. Now we're in the origin season. Origin is going to have a finish date to be determined, and when that finish date happens, people will get airdropped the rewards of that, and we'll start the next season. And it gives people kind of a reset to be like, oh my gosh, I'm not 2 years behind on this thing. I'll never make it to the top of the leaderboards. I'll never make it to where I want to be. So there's this kind of reset of these airdrop seasons. And they have their own level curve. If any of you've played D&D or character-based games where you kind of level up, and that level curve is different than your global level curve. So you may be globally level 5,000 because you've been around for forever, but we're on airdrop season 20. You're going to start at level 0, and you're going to have to climb your way back up every season to get the reward, get however we're rewarding people. And then there's the multi-pass rank. And the multi-pass rank is based on the actual products that want to give multi-pass ranks and what rank they want to give. And so there's a lot of you who, as soon as we turned on multi-rank, they filled all the way to the end. They're already ranked 30, and they're going to get all of those airdrops from C4. And then again, so then if say HoloSim wanted to do their own multi-pass, then there would be a multi-pass for the rank for each one of those. And so this other idea that games and players in the companies in the ecosystem could do their own ranking and their own airdrops that aren't tied to the season. So I know it gets complex, and I'm sorry that seems complex. The simple answer to your question is that timer was never really when the Z.ink blockchain was going to launch. It was when the origin season was going to end. And we've decided right now that the origin season ending is going to be determined. We're not sure. And there are sleuths like Funcracker who went looking through network protocols and found a date. But we're not displaying it to people. And that date that's coming is also not true. It's just a placeholder. We don't know right yet. We haven't determined when Origin's going to end. So, and it does not mean that the blockchain itself is going to be delayed.
Awesome. Jim, now let's change gears to player impact. Like, I want to give them like an overview of the first 24 hours, 48 hours of the Z.ink network. So I want to give them some idea of what changes for them, if the wallet flows, fees, logins, etc. that they are used to on Solana will be the same thing. If they need to bridge their assets, how is that going to work? What happens with their existing assets? And what's the rollout plan to keep the migration low drama, if we could say it like that? If you
Yeah,
can,
that's a great question, and I won't have all of the specifics about that. I know our community is really really good at like give me the exact specifics, and I apologize that I'm talk more in generalities. I don't want to ruin the fun when and the excitement when it actually happens. But yeah, so from a technical standpoint, Z.ink is going to be a different set of RPCs and a custom RPC URL. And we've been working with Backpack, and for basically top level Backpack support. I'll be candid. My understanding is we reached out to Soulflare and we reached out to Phantom. Can you hear me? What's going on?
Yeah. No, I'm laughing because you just dropped the major alpha.
Oh, oh, shoot. What? Why do I do that? Don't. No wonder the replay might have been.
Jesus.
Um,
Yeah. Go
yeah.
on.
So we've been working with Backpack, and things are looking good there. Again, we've reached out to Phantom and to Soulflare, and we haven't really gotten a response that leads me to believe that you're going to be able to use Phantom if you can't put a custom RPC. You are right. And so my initial gut feeling, and again, this is me, and I may be wrong in this in the end, but is that yeah, there will be this process of basically hooking up to connect to Zinc, and then using the bridge software that we're building to basically go in and say, here's my Star Atlas assets, and I want to move them to Zinc, and bridge them to Zinc. And if you're doing that with Phantom and Ledger now, or you're doing that with Soulflare, or whatever, however you're doing that now, you basically do that. We bridge them over. You sign it again with Backpack, and now they're in Zinc, and you're using that to play C4 on Zinc. I kind of give a
Awesome.
high level of how that would work.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, Now I feel it's the time for us to start digging in on network design, the builder's ecosystem, and I think we have someone very qualified in the audience who, even though he's sick, he gently offered to join us today to talk a little bit about this. Uh, I will invite our friend Jacob Brave Target to the stage. Welcome, Jacob.
Hey,
I'm
hey,
sorry for taking you from your recovery.
no worries. I'm like only half sick, so I'm good.
Half sick is half alive, right? So it's something, right?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely feel a lot better than I sound for sure.
Awesome, Jacob. So we had a few questions. Oh, yeah, this is quite interesting. We have 4Js in the brew right now. I think this is a very interesting configuration. Yes, very cool, Larino. So, Jacob, you are for sure on top of everything related to the Zinc network, the designs, the validators, etc. Can you give us like a brief summary of what we can expect at the release of Zinc
Uh-huh.
on those topics and the roadmap or the North Stars that Automata will follow on its path of for decentralization?
Uh-huh. Well, first of all, I want to mention how awesome Jim has been covering all of these topics, uh, and it's pretty good to have like a lot of the information floating out there. Maybe faster than we were anticipating, but nonetheless, it's great. There's so much to cover when it comes to launching an L1. So much appreciated, Jim. And
No problem.
as far as putting this thing into a healthy sort of go-to-market L1, there's a lot of moving pieces, and we have just dozens, many dozens of meetings over the last year to kind of show just how many details are needed to get everything in place. Um, there is this sort of um, the MVP launch of an L1 that we talk about pretty regularly, um, and we kind of see it throughout the industry. Just like it's not every single L1 launch is different, and we're taking all the good pages out of what we see that we feel works super well, and then and then also flagging these major concerns. But what we're shooting for, and this is like a really important detail that I think kind of applies to a lot of different topics, is that we're making almost no code changes from Solana mainnet, um, and very explicit sort of around this strategy. We think it's going to help tremendously when it comes to growth. Basically, everything running in the Solana ecosystem, working out of the box for Z.ink mainnet is pretty sweet. I think that it's going to sort of encourage all different sizes of players that are doing really well in the Solana ecosystem to just see this greenfield over in the Z.ink network and get involved. That said, to kind of answer the question, I mean that does kind of answer the question in terms of what we're shooting for. Is I think Lauren mentioned it, it's like Z.ink testnet, but we kind of actually do the Z.ink token minting, treat it as mainnet. One of the big requirements there that kind of separates it from testnet and mainnet is that you need a bridge. You need a bridging strategy. It's kind of impossible to launch an L1 and have activity there, meaningful activity, without without a bridge to bring assets in. As opposed to the early days, like these networks were coming up from scratch and there was no network to bridge from, so it's like that required just a massive community to get involved in the sort of token generation event. And with our pre-existing sort of presence on Solana mainnet, having the bridge strategy in place made a tremendous amount of sense. So that's the additional baggage that comes with mainnet. But we have had testnet running for actually a couple months there. You said about 30 days, Jim. It's been running for, like 90. And it's nice to see all that tech working and kind of the build pipeline for Z.ink validators and whatnot. Sort of that's all in place. The big thing that we're trying to nail down right now is the bridge and bridging strategy, and possibly some launch partners to work with, so that there's multiple bridging options. I also want to reference in this question is Fogo Chain. They just this week they launched their L1 SVM, albeit with a handful of quirks. They did some really interesting sort of performance optimization to their network architecture. Not really this like verbatim vanilla SVM L1. They're doing some really cool stuff at the hardware level. But pretty successful launch, and they had partnered with Wormhole to do their bridging into it. And it's pretty cool to see all of that go really well and have a lot of success kind of right out of the gate to show for it. So
This is interesting. So, and this is a question that I see here in the audience, because several people were previously concerned about the bridging operations overall, but this is something that you guys on the dev team are not super worried about, given that we had this experience with Fogo and the other partners that we have in the ecosystem. This is like a low risk thing, probably.
I wouldn't paint it as a low risk. I want to say the bridge portion of the stack is significantly in the highest risk category of anything that we're running. I mean, just referencing the industry altogether, if you look at attack vectors, things that have gone wrong, it's like 99% occurs within bridges and oracles, and there's thousands of new attack vectors when it comes to those types of services, because it's not just it's sort of in certain ways decoupled from the blockchain network itself, and you're sort of dealing with this peripheral system and a lot of weird finagling, and this is bridges that have 3 independent audits go through, all successful, no issues, and then some black hat finds an attack vector there and millions get lost. So this is definitely topmost concern when it comes to the security auditing efforts we're putting in place for Z.ink, is if we're doing this home-baked bridge sort of tailor-fit solution, which in our case, I think doing this tailor fit bridging solution makes a lot of sense because it's in particular the bridge system we're building is a SVM to SVM bridge. It's not multi-chain. So and we have I want to say the most concise bridging system that's ever been built, like minimizing the surface area, just to kind of make it foolproof. No weird attack vectors come out of the woodwork, and and this is. We also have, game systems that we're thinking about, like gameplay experience. From my perspective, when there's DeFi bridging, it can take minutes or 20 plus minutes for your sort of transfer to resolve into the destination network. But because our core products are games and the gameplay experience and sort of the UX there really matters a lot. We saw kind of this opportunity to just have like high speed, finality within seconds through the bridging system. And so we're kind of accomplishing that. It's pretty neat seeing what's coming together. And then again, this is just our tailor fit version. We're looking very likely going to have multiple bridging options when it comes to getting assets into Z.ink.
This is super cool, Jacob. And I think we should also touch a little bit on the validator program or how the validator ecosystem is going to work on Z.ink. Is it going to be permissionless? What's the plan at the beginning? There will be incentives to run a validator on Z.ink? Whatever you can disclose to us today, feel free to give us the alpha.
Whatever I can disclose is an interesting question. I'm not exactly sure, but I'll share some cool details about the getting involved in the Z.ink network is going to be extraordinarily easy for anyone that's done anything in Solana ecosystem previously. If you ran a validator there, you're going to be right at home running the Z.ink validator. The next milestone that we are looking towards are these testnet workshops, these Z.ink testnet workshops that we're going to coordinate with interested parties, and there's a handful of them right in the Star Atlas community. It's going to be pretty cool, but really doing some broader outreach there, and just try to get people really well equipped for that Genesis event, the Z.ink mainnet going live, and kind of from day one have these launch partners running validators along with us. And so that's kind of going to be the main goal of the Z.ink testnet workshops, is just like make sure everyone's kind of running it, and again connecting to Z.ink testnet and kind of ensuring that everything's working as intended there, and just make it really a seamless transition into running a validator on Z.ink mainnet, because again, there's this stake weight, associated stake weight with your validator. It's going to have some yield with it. Those numbers aren't finalized. Can't really share a lot of like what that yield looks like, but everything I've seen related to tokenomics is feeling very, very healthy. Stellar job from Mike and Chris working. It's awesome.
This is interesting, Jacob, because Mandalorian is asking precisely that, because he sees the situation where we have some validators on Solana, like just quitting, but you guys are creating a system to ensure that there are incentives to be a validator on Z.ink, right?
Yeah, I mean there's pretty solid incentives in Solana mainnet. I can't really identify exactly why it's hemorrhaging a lot of validators from the Solana mainnet ecosystem, but the tech is phenomenal and it keeps improving, and and that I think when it comes to kind of proportionality of validators, like we don't have this really extensive list. We have some internal targets of how many external validators we would like to be running at Genesis. But whether or not we get there doesn't necessarily threaten the security of the network, right? It's we have the token allocation, sorry, the Z.ink token circulation schedule, I should say, is going to give us this confidence to where even if we had, single digit validators running the network from Genesis, we're not exposed to this like 51% attack because of the way that the circulating supply and the stake weight is going to be distributed. So hopefully that does sort of highlight some opportunity here. If you're one of a small handful of validators and there's not a lot of circulating supply out there, yeah, it could be a great opportunity to get involved in those early days. And kind of what Jim was getting at is like the the growth. All of these big sort of systems, these big platforms that are running in Solana mainnet that are just, even with kind of a lot of an exodus of validators, there's just still this amazingly high rank of in terms of user activity and engagement in the Solana network. Nobody's really close. There's a lot of people doing really great things, but if you just look at the user activity, the development teams, like nobody's really that close to what Solana is doing. It's very impressive, and so kind of bringing a lot of that energy into Z.ink, new greenfield. I think it's pretty sweet opportunity there.
Jacob and Jim, now I would like to briefly touch on the builders that we want to attract to the Z.ink network. I mean, of course, Star Atlas is the biggest, most visible application that's coming to the Z.ink network, but we also need other stuff in the ecosystem like exchanges, etc., etc. And I'd like to hear from you guys, like, what you guys are looking for the most in people coming to build on the Z.ink network, what kind of applications, programs, etc. you guys would like to see, and do you see in the future incentives being given to people to come build on the Z.ink network to try to attract talent to the ecosystem?
Absolutely. So there's, excuse me, part of that sort of tokenomics plan is allocating sort of ecosystem growth tokens. So if there is, really nice, well, every network is going to need like the healthy DeFi piping is what I call it. So it's like the foundational layer, liquidity pools, being able to do all the exchanging of assets there, and interesting DeFi services. I think there's going to be a whole host of people that really become the premier provider of those DeFi services on Z.ink, and it's going to be interesting to see. In contrast to Solana mainnet, it's not just going to be Jupiter, Orca, Radium kind of running the show, pump.fun. It's going to be, opportunity for the new pump fund to be, exist in the new Jupiter. And yeah, there's some interesting discussions there when it comes to kind of that DeFi piping, but where my head goes is, and we're not a gaming network per se, but I really want to see a lot of gaming projects sort of exist on Z.ink, and really embrace this sort of cross collaboration, cross promotion capability that comes with these, permissionless networks, assets shared in between games, or we have seen some of that in our history where it's like a kind of something built within the Starless community that just consumes R4 in their game. They're not producing it, but it's like, hey, you can use your fuel, food, whatever in our game, and it works. And I think that's a really nice way to just get interested users into your new game. So encouraging a lot of like gaming development to happen on Z.ink, kind of born and raised there. And that would definitely fit the theme of what we're really using the network for immensely is Star Atlas game system. So yeah, I'll kind of leave it at that. I don't know if Jim or John want to speak to that, but yeah.
Yeah, I can jump in real quick. Like, I definitely think some of the things we're thinking about in terms of, again, rewards programs, payment systems that are highly crypto native, and not fiat native, and then trying to throw crypto on there and doing weird things with creating 50 invoices and doing all the crazy stuff that Stripe is doing. Again, if we could get thousands and thousands of Star Atlas players on there, and then what are things that people could build that tap into that large user base and provide more value. What kind of user generated content, what kind of other things, and what things, what kind of products could really leverage a really high performant SVM without necessarily the cost of the token being hundreds of dollars, right? There's a lot of really cool, I think, opportunities for anybody kind of thinking about building on top of a really robust and awesome, consensus protocol blockchain like Solana, but being able to do it in a more cost effective manner. So that's what I would, and then having a built-in, basically, if you partner with the Z.ink reward program, you have a built-in kind of marketing channel to promote your product to people who are active in the community. So
Really interesting. Guys, now it's time to expose Xcode. He has been quiet this entire brew. His strategy was exposed in the chat by Jindo. And now, John, it's time to earn your keep. Share some alpha with us about Holocene. What have you been cooking in the backstage, my friend?
I was hoping you guys would just forget that I was here, and I could just go back to coding this
He
stuff.
was. I'm sure he was just clearing his tasks backlog
More
on
like clearing
Holocene.
my cache on my browser and restarting.
Jesus.
Here, so this last time I tried sharing, the screen didn't work. So let's see if I can share this time. See if Discord is working better today. You'll have to tell me if this works or if it's just a blank screen.
Let's see, it's loading.
Working? Blank screen?
Loading forever.
I'll turn my camera off. Maybe it'll help.
Yeah, maybe if we turn off our cameras.
No, I don't know what's going on. It doesn't work on the stage, but I can share my screen all day
Okay,
long.
I think I saw something. Hold on.
1080p. Okay, let me see. Let's see what we got here.
Jindo, teach us.
Try again. Custom. 1080p. Okay. Then let's go. Just the 1080p Nitro version of a screen share. Anything?
Nothing yet on my end.
Okay. Well,
You need to take a screenshot of your screen and show us in the chat.
Sure. Okay. So here's a combat interface. You can see that we have the different factions broken up on the screen. Use your imagination with me. These are supposed to be fleet icons. And you can see there's 2 rainbow cheese there. You can see that there's an evac in my fleet, and they're using fleet icons. So we're getting away from this full screen command view, and we're breaking fleets up into static items on the screen. And at a glance, you can see shield power, hull points. You can see the numbers represent their attack power, and you get the fleet names. And in this screenshot that I posted above, this one here, I'll just repost this. I clicked attack, and the screen displays a pop-up over top of the fleet that's firing and what its damage was. It shows the damage dealt to the other fleet, the damage I took. It shows that animation that lights up and flashes on the screen. And then it shows the countdowns, and you can see that the evac has a 1.5-minute timer. And so the release we did last week changed how fleet attack cooldowns work. So across the board, we increased fleet attack timers. And the idea here is that battles will be started by clicking attack, and they'll continue to go until you say stop. So we're not going to click attack, click attack, click attack on whatever. You're going to come in and you're going to say attack, and you're going to choose a target, and it's going to keep attacking until the target either dies or you die or you're destroyed. And battles are going to last longer. Equally equipped fleets could take up to 10 minutes to destroy one another. And that allows for a lot more strategic gameplay. It allows for enemy NPCs to come in and disrupt your mining operations and you not get wiped off the map in 2 seconds. It allows you to bring in reinforcements to counter enemy NPCs or other enemy fleets. It allows battles to build in complexity. It allows you to change out units, move in units, move out units type thing. Yeah, so that's what we're getting at here. The pace of battle will be much slower in the next chapter of HoloSim. And a lot of combat is going to be around maintaining your control of particular mining nodes, because you're going to want to earn achievements by mining at those nodes, and that takes time, and there's going to be enemies attacking you no matter what. So yeah, so that's kind of a
Your alpha?
yeah, that's my alpha. I'm not going to show you
Awesome, John.
more.
Yeah, this is a good excuse. I would make you show them the quests and something like this, but since your stream is bugged, nothing we can do.
I'm gonna try here. I don't know what's going on. Nitro stream. Let me just try a window instead of the whole screen. Let's see here, more options.
Yeah, guys, another thing that I think is going to be super cool is the beginning of the PvE combat in HoloSim. We'll be much more focused on adding PvE elements. It's the first time that we are adding them, but this will only grow in the following chapters.
Can you see that?
No, John, still loading.
Report a problem. I'm clicking the report a problem button.
Are you trying the share screen that's on the at the bottom of the screen or on the one on the left, bottom
The one
left?
at the bottom of this screen, like connected to my stage controls.
I see.
Let's see. Yeah, we'll have to do this. We'll have to get on a stage and troubleshoot this at some point so that I can start sharing on these. Let me try something different here. Let's
Sure.
share my screen. Let's try that.
Yeah, Jindo is asking you to use the bottom left one.
Yeah, I just tried the bottom left one here. No dice?
No.
Something different.
John, people are asking, will there be sound in Holocene in this chapter?
Yeah, we've got some sound. We have a notification system that provides in-game updates from Sage in real time. So you'll get notifications about enemy fleets coming to your sector. You'll get notifications about in-game actions that you've taken. You'll also have video, like live video from the different NPCs who are telling you the story as you go through the story and through the tutorial. I can probably share an example of that if you guys want to see something.
I guess everyone does.
Yeah, I can just post it here. Just give me a minute here to get that. Sec.
Someone mistakes that shiny uniform for an invitation.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is a little long. It's 1.5 minutes, but I'll drop it in here and you guys can.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can close your transmission, John. It seems to be bugging some people's Discords.
Okay. All right.
Hope it's better now, Est.
Is that all right?
Yeah, I think it got better for them. Sasquatch is asking if there will be an option to turn off the videos.
Yep. You'll be able to pause them or mute them if you want.
Because he's worried about the load on the PC's local PC.
Yes. Yeah. You can mute them. You can pause them. I mean the notification system is going to have different levels of severity, and you'll be able to tune it to just critical messages. And if you bring the notification system more sensitive, you'll get critical and warning. And if you get more sensitive, you get critical, warning, and info. So, yeah, you can have it really verbose or off. And there's a new UI for the Quest interface, and you'll see how it works. You don't have to play the video. You can just read the text if you want.
John, VB gave me a solution, a potential solution. I set the stage video quality to 720p.
Okay.
Maybe your transmission will work as I ask you for your patience. Let's do one more try. If it works, it works. If not, we just drop something in the chat and close the brew.
Okay. And I'm already uploading the video file of the people talking. So that's going to come through in a second. And I'm going to try a 720p video stream. So
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Share your screen. And I'm going to go with 720p. 720p. Oops. One sec. Fat fingered it. Share my screen. Make a selection. 720p. Okay, how about this? Anything? Nope.
Unfortunately, no. Okay, that's fine. You already gave us the video. Let me see if I can play it. Yeah, you can close your stream. Let me.
Okay.
Well, this isn't exactly the officer's lounge I was expecting. Keep your guard up, Captain. The Punobs in here look like they could wrestle a Juprin ox. There he is, the one with the medals and the attitude.
You're late. Sit down before someone mistakes that shiny uniform for an invitation. Commander Seikolobe Minefastu, Convergence War, 5th Oni Fleet. Two-time survivor of orbital catastrophes, and one retirement ceremony that didn't stick. Now I'm here, wasting my twilight years inside a bloody simulation, babysitting so-called rebels.
With respect, Commander, neither of us are rebels. We're operating under Council order with full Oni authorization. We're here to help ensure the Consortium's victory, nothing more.
Oh, I've heard that tune before. Victory for the Consortium, unity for Gallia. Every generation hums the same melody until the music stops and someone starts looting the instruments. Still, you might be right. Maybe you're not rebels. Not yet, anyway. But we'll see soon enough. You forced me out of retirement, Captain, so I might as well make it worth the trouble. Finish your drink. We've got a galaxy to win. And I'll be damned if the Consortium loses, even in a simulation. Come on, then. Time to earn your pay. And mine.
This is our Punab, Sekalob. Man, I really like this. Going to be so fun.
Yeah, so we got lots of content in chapter 2. 9 characters, I think, across 3 factions. Everybody gets different stories. They get the same story told through different characters. So,
It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Awesome, guys. I think this was a great brew, honestly. I really want to highlight Jacob here, who was not feeling well but jumped in to help us. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, John. It was an awesome brew, guys. Thank you for
Thank
answering
you.
Yeah, it was my pleasure to be here with so many legends whose name starts with J. Maybe we'll make this a thing, so only people with the J name are allowed to participate on brews from now on. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the brew. Doubles in the chat for my co-hosts here. They were awesome. Get ready. New things are coming pretty soon. Star Atlas is going to release a bunch of really cool stuff in the near term. Get ready, guys. We are in the final phases of development, especially for Holocene. I can almost taste the cosmic currents. And now, thank you for watching. It was a pleasure to be here with you all. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Econ Forum, where me and Chris will go through the Star Atlas ecosystem. We are also going to talk about Z.ink, about the other Solana virtual machines blockchains. It's going to be a very interesting conversation. I hope you all join us tomorrow as well. Thank you for watching and have a great week. Bye bye. See you guys later.
you guys.